Welcome to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today. Cord Cutting 2.0 will finally kill off major cable TV companies like Comcast. For years, executives in cable companies just said, we'll get the internet customers if they cancel television. Well, now in 2023, major cable TV companies lost not just TV customers, but internet customers. We're going to be breaking this down and let you know the real danger that puts these companies in. Speaking of which, 5G home internet had a banner year in 2023, adding millions of customers. We'll tell you how many for their 5G home internet service. Also, YouTube TV is dominating cord cutting. We'll tell you the exact numbers, what's happening there, and everything you need to know in a minute here. First, though, if you want to learn more about these stories, check out the show notes down below and in the first pinned comment. I'll put a link to each story there so you can read them for yourself. Now, also, if you can, help us out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. Let YouTube know you enjoy what we do here so YouTube recommends our videos to more people. It really does help. With that said, let's dive in, starting off with, for the first time in I don't know how long, Comcast and other major cable TV companies lost internet customers in 2023. Now, there was one exception to this out there. Compared to other companies, Spectrum actually technically added customers in 2023, but ended the year in the fourth quarter losing internet customers. Atlas, through its Optimum service, lost 114,000. Comcast lost 66,000 subscribers. And Spectrum gained 155,000. Overall, you average together all the top cable TV companies, they all, when you break it all down, lost internet customers in 2023. Now, this is the cord cutting 2.0 movement. Cord cutting 1.0 was canceling television. Canceling your Comcast internet is now cord cutting 2.0. So we've gone from just canceling television and going to streaming services to saying, I really just want to completely break free from that cable TV company. And now I'm going to go get internet from either fiber, or I'm going to go get it from 5G home internet or other similar services out there. And that's a major, major issue for Comcast and others. For now, this is like the early days of Comcast. They're like, we can't, or of cord cutting, where Comcast and others are just saying, we can deal with this. This isn't a big deal. Yeah, we lost some subscribers. We were in the negative in the growth department, but that's okay. We're just going to get more money from the customers we want. Those weren't the customers we wanted anyways. And now they're in the point where those customers, everybody's leaving them for television. And I think we're going to see the same kind of thing happen for internet. I think this is like the early days of cord cutting 1.0. And if this continues, Comcast and Spectrum could find themselves in serious trouble here. Will it kill them? Probably not. To be honest, I don't think Comcast or Spectrum is going to go away. Could we see a lot of small cable television companies get killed and go away? 100%. We've already seen Spectrum buy up a few small ones. We've seen a growing number of small cable TV companies completely shut down their TV and just go towards internet. I think that trend in 2024 is going to continue. But this could be a massive impact. A company that we thought would be profitable forever could very well find themselves someday down the road not as profitable as they once were. And that's why we're seeing them heavily go into wireless phone plans. You've probably gotten all the messages and all the promotional offers, get cheap lines. T-Mobile hasn't been all that impressed. They think that in the long term, that's not a viable strategy, the way they're doing it, to basically try to undercut everybody to get customers and then maybe someday in the future raise their prices, is what T-Mobile has kind of argued. We'll keep a close eye on this, but this is something that Comcast, Spectrum, and others didn't think would happen. Legitimate competition in the world of home internet, forcing them to have to actually be competitive and fight for their customers, much like they had to do with their television services. They didn't do that very well. They didn't find ways to compete with streaming. Are they going to do better in cord cutting 2.0? Speaking of that, T-Mobile, how big is 5G home internet? Well, T-Mobile and Verizon added 3.6 million customers in 2023. Just to give you an idea, those 5G home internet customers are moving away. And while they would like you to think that people hate that, it seems that a lot of people are very happy with it. Yeah, maybe not everybody, but there's a lot of other options, including fiber, SpaceX, and other ones out there. All right, so let's talk about television real quick. One of the arguments for TV networks was that, hey, people will cancel cable and just get streaming versions like YouTube TV, Hulu, and others. And that's not quite panning out like they thought. millions of people canceled cable television in 2023, but only a handful of them moved over to streaming. In total, 5 million fewer people now pay for a live TV service, whether that be cable, satellite, or streaming through like YouTube TV, Hulu, Fubo, and others, than they did at the start of 2023. YouTube TV is dominating that. They added 1.9 million subscribers compared to Hulu's 100,000, Fubo's 173,000, and Sling TV losing 279,000 subscribers. YouTube TV grew by more than 10 times all of its major competitors combined into a single bundle. That's pretty interesting. YouTube TV is absolutely dominating the world of cord cutting right now. Now, NFL Sunday Ticket has to be a big part of that. A lot of people like the multi-view, the ease, the channel lineup. Well, it's not for everybody. And Major League Baseball fans, I'm sure, will love their local RSNs or the Major League Baseball Network. But I think YouTube TV's kind of said, well, those are very expensive, and the percentage of people who actually watch that don't really justify the cost. Seems like they're doing something right there. But we'll have to keep a close eye on this, because will YouTube TV lose subscribers in the first quarter of 2023? Or 2024, I apologize, still a bad habit. It's hard to say. They don't report their numbers regularly. We didn't get their numbers. They often will just do a yearly big bundle. Here's how many we have. Now, this number comes from the Leachman Research Group, who does a very good job tracking all this. And by this, if you add in YouTube TV, Hulu, cable, satellite, and all that put together, over 5 million fewer people are paying for things like ESPN right now than were 1 year ago. That is absolutely devastating numbers that will negatively impact the cable television network. It's probably why we're seeing True TV turn into a sports network and move away from reality programming. All right, let's keep moving along. This Thursday, quick reminder, FCC will vote to end those cable TV fees. That the FCC has set a date this Thursday to vote to make all-in pricing mandatory. No longer will they be able to advertise one pricing with a bunch of little text at the bottom saying terms and conditions, regional sports fee, broadcast television fee, HD technology fee, and others can be bundled in. They're going to have to put those in the advertised pricing. This is probably going to be challenged in court. Just because they vote on this and they prove on Thursday, there's going to be a grace period. During that, I expect cable companies to challenge it because they don't want to have to put that. I think some cable companies I saw are charging over $30 a month bundled between regional broadcast fees and RSN fees. You add in more like HD technology fees, device fees, DVR fees, and the like, and suddenly you see how that can be something that they don't really want to advertise. So keep a very close look at that. Real quick, we did talk a lot about the number of cable TV and satellite customers lost today's video. It was 6.9 million customers lost in 2023. Full breakdown, and when you add in the number of streaming customers, how that's still over 5 million lost. If you want to see how much Comcast and Spectrum and each of them lost individually, I got a link in the show notes down below. Last week we talked a lot about Roku forcing mandatory terms of service update to Roku players. Well, now the Roku streaming service, the Roku channel, which is a free ad-supported service where you can also buy and pay for different streaming services like Paramount Plus and others through it. I had to think of one for a minute. My brain stopped for a second. Allows you to manage your subscriptions through it. Is now also doing mandatory terms of service that you have to agree to or stop using the app. Not a problem if you're just watching the free stuff. Big problem if you paid them to manage your subscriptions to different streaming services. Check that out. If you haven't been hit by that, you will soon. All right, and lastly, quick reminder, Major League Baseball is returning to Apple TV+. You can find a link to that story down below. But Friday night games are back on Apple TV+, if you're a fan of Major League Baseball. All right, let's dive into a question of the day. Every day I try to answer a question. If you have a question for me you want me to answer, leave me a comment down below. Start off with something like a question for Luke. And this question says that they live in South Colorado in an area where over-the-air television is very bad. Even over-the-air radio is very poor. And they've tried all kinds of stuff but can't find a solution. Now, a few things here. First of all, I feel your pain. When I cut the cord, I lived in the middle of Mark Twain National Forest in a valley. And I got absolutely no over-the-air television signals where I lived. Now, 90% of Americans will get free over-the-air television, most if not all of their big four networks and plenty of others. Where I live here in Michigan now, I get over 50 channels with my antenna, get great amount of content, absolutely love it. But if you live in if you're part of that 10%, 8%, whatever it may be, that doesn't, you're part of millions of people who don't, unfortunately. There's millions of people who live in rough areas. Now, a few things here. ATSC 3.0 is supposed to do a better job of covering the covered areas. But beyond that, there's not a whole lot to do. FTC does not mandate 100% coverage of over-the-air signals. So you're kind of stuck with a few things. You can stream. You can get a service like YouTube TV to get locals. You can use something like News On to watch just local news, but not programming, and other options. But unfortunately, there is no laws mandating that you have to watch those. Now, you can go over the TV answer man, Tyler over there, the TV man, whatever. I'm blanking on his name, but Tyler's a great option on YouTube. He gives a lot of suggestions and hints for different antennas you can use and different tips and tricks. But I will be 100% honest. If you live in a mountainous area, if you live in a valley like I did, and you're way out on the fringe of that TV market, you may not be able to get a signal. But there are streaming options for you to get it through YouTube TV and others if that's important to you. I wish I had better news, but that's a common question I get, and I feel you because for the first few years I was a cord cutter, I received no over-the-air signals and had to stream everything. Well, that's it for today. Take care, be safe. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.